some recruiters who don't know anything about why travelers get tax-free money. Like they're just new. They don't understand the nuances of the industry. They don't understand the pay breakdown that well
Yeah.
yet. They don't know which facilities are great for new grads. They just don't know it yet. Hello and welcome to the Nomadicare Show, episode 8. Today we are talking about how to switch recruiters inside of a company. Let's dive in.
Let's do it.
One, two, three. Na 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 na.
All right, so the question today, how do you switch recruiters at the same agency?
Oh, good. Great question. This is a very important skill to know. It is going to be common, normal, etc. to not fall in love with the very first recruiter you happen to talk to at a company. And maybe you're like, I need to work with this company. They've got the contracts where I want them in California. But then the mission is like, let me get the best recruiter inside that company.
Yeah, especially like because it's a total random crapshoot sometimes, right? Of what recruiter you get.
Yeah.
You may just get round robined and get the new guy or girl that just started, or the person who never picks up the phone. There's so many variables, right?
Recruiters are beyond not equal. One recruiter, it can be so night and day different than another recruiter at the same company. And then your experience as a traveler is so different. The way you get paid, how much they follow up with you. Are they friendly? Are they kind of direct and make you feel awkward? So getting that right fit for you makes a really big difference. And I do agree with you. If you like apply to a company on their website or call in, guess which recruiter you're probably going to get.
Probably going to get like the brand new bottom of the barrel, right? That
Mm.
that doesn't have already referrals coming in from other travelers.
Yep.
They're a brand new person. They're just like, hey, put them on a job board so they can get travelers who apply to these jobs.
Yep. Round robin, you will go to anybody. Then when you get that person who called you first inside the system at the company, you're locked into that person
Yeah.
because recruiters are commission based. So since it's a sales job, it's not like they're just like, oh, whoever wants it. They're like, okay, now this one's mine. And I get to try my hardest to book them to get the sales commission off of this person. And so they kind of own that person when you first go in. So if accidentally you call in or apply through their portal, get the brand new recruiter, you're locked in with them unless you now do something to switch to a different recruiter.
Yeah. I mean, it's so frustrating, right? It'd be like going to REI to go buy a pair of hiking boots, and you don't really know anything about hiking boots, and you really want to get the best boot, and you go there and it's like the first person to stay on the job and they know nothing about hiking boots. And you're like, can I get someone else that knows a little bit more about boots? Because I have a lot of questions and like I want to
Yeah.
like make sure I get the right one. And it can just totally impact your experience, right?
Yes. And I'm going to take it a step further. Let's pretend like REI, the people could just pick the price they're going to do for the boots. And the new person's like, I'm going to make them pay $200. And the other person was like, oh, I could have given them 140 for those boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it matters.
That kind of, I mean, that's kind of how it works too in retail a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I worked in retail, and, you know, as a manager too, you could always do like $10 off on a pair of boots, right?
Yeah.
And like the seasonal help or like the brand new person, they don't have that power nor like the initiative or like gumption or whatever the
Yeah.
right word is to be like, you know what, I'll give you $10 off on this
Yeah.
pair. Like, let's make this deal happen.
Totally. And it matters too for getting the job. So Nomadicare, like the company that we run, we are the recruiter matchmakers of the industry. Also, we work with a lot of recruiters and a lot of companies. And so with that, we get to see Jacob's favorite thing, a whole lot of data. And what we get to see is that some recruiters are just exceptional at getting travelers in the jobs they want.
Yeah.
Maybe they submit slightly faster. Maybe they rewrite the blurb so you sound better. There's all these little things a recruiter actually can
what?
do. The blurb. The blurb about you that just sent to the hospital.
We need a definition at the bottom of the screen. Blurb. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, that's a technical word. The blurb
Yes,
about
yes,
you.
yes. Okay, sorry. Continue.
Yeah. So you want a recruiter that writes a good blurb. But
Hashtag blurb. We're going to go viral.
but it makes a big difference in getting a job. And then we see recruiters from the same exact company placing almost nobody in these same jobs. And so
Yeah.
it matters if you get the job. It matters if they're paying you the most they can up front. It matters on how knowledgeable they are on the industry. We interview some recruiters who don't know anything about why travelers get tax-free money. Like they're just new. They don't understand the nuances of the industry. They don't understand the pay breakdown that well
Yeah.
yet. They don't know which facilities are great for new grads. They just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
And so you don't want those recruiters. And, we don't pass them on our interview. We're really strict on our interviews. But regardless, we can see the range inside of one company.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll unpack two really key points that you made in there. One, say something with like the knowledgeable or the knowledge about tax-free money, right? Why you qualify, all this. If a recruiter gives you bad information, we see this in our Facebook groups all the time. Travelers will go, "Hey, I thought I was doing everything right. I'm hanging out at my buddy's house and paying $10 a month, but then now I heard somewhere else that you have to like duplicate your expenses, but my recruiter told me something different." Happens all the time.
Yeah.
Recruiters will not know something. They're just humans, right?
Yeah.
And also, too, the discrepancy of high performers versus the rest of the pack. It's almost universal. Doesn't matter the agency. If there are 10 recruiters, 3 of them will be exceptionally great, and 7 of them will be average to work, like average to bad.
Yeah.
Performers, right? They could be great people, no tax homes, be super responsive, but they have a hard time getting travelers in the jobs.
hmm
And for travelers, like that's a huge part of what you want out of your recruiter, the ability to get a job for you.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter if they're just the most, warm, communicative, friendly person. If at the end of the day, you don't get a job, you don't have a recruiter, you have a friend.
Yeah. That's exactly right. And a lower bank account.
Yes.
Yeah. It turns out we need a job to make money. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that's very accurate. And behind the scenes in a staffing agency, there's a lot that goes in to that submittal and getting you the job. It's not an equal playing field. So, getting the right recruiter is crucial. And so a traveler knows that, let's say, they ended up with a recruiter that they have a feeling is not the right one for them.
Yeah.
So now they're like, well, what do I do? Because in this company system, I'm stuck with this recruiter. If I call in, I'm going to get rerouted to this recruiter unless I do something. And it can feel a little awkward because you don't want to call the recruiter and be like, I don't think you're that good. Can you just pass me to like a coworker who's
Yeah,
better than
yeah.
you? So then what do you do? That's the whole question. So one route is the route that you went through Nomadicare and got a recruiter match. So this is the easiest way because we kind of do all the awkward part for you where you don't even have to, you just tell us and we switch you to somebody else. And so maybe you come through, we match you to someone, or even it's someone you found on your own, right? And you come through and you're like, hey, do you have recruiters at this company? Can you switch me to like a recruiter that is better? That works too. But either way, you're like, this one is just not vibing with either my personality. We got off on the wrong foot, whatever it is. I'd like a fresh start with someone else, but I still want this company.
Yeah.
If it's Nomadicare, we just switch you to someone else. We tell them internally about the situation. We usually like try to find out a little bit more about why, because sometimes travelers think, oh, this recruiter did like X, Y, and Z. I think that's so bad. And then we can hear that and be like, oh, that's a normal thing. Every recruiter does that.
Yeah.
And then be like, that's not a big deal. Or we can be like, yeah, let's switch you. That recruiter's not responding to you. Let's get you someone better. But we'll just do all the awkwardness. We'll do the conversation and you'll just have a new recruiter. Now, if you do it on your own, you just have to have that conversation yourself because we can't do it for you if we don't know the recruiters. So what you do is you're actually going to want to talk to the recruiter manager in this situation. So you could kind of use the recruiter manager as your recruiter matchmaker. What you want to know before you have that conversation is one, why you like the agency and why you want to stay with them. Two, what you're looking for in a recruiter. Because if you just say, I want another recruiter, they might just give you to the next brand new recruiter in line. So you want to have a very clear explanation of what it is that the first recruiter wasn't doing right, what you want in the second recruiter. And so what that would sound like is you could call in to the agency and you don't even have to say your name and just be like, hey, who's the recruiter director? Who's the manager? Who's the recruiter manager there? And get the name and the email address of that person. And you can email the recruiter manager and say, hey, name, I'm a a travel PT. I love this company. You guys have jobs in this area. I want to keep working with your company. And I think I'll be a great traveler for you guys. However, I'm just not quite clicking with the recruiter I'm talking to right
Yeah.
now. That recruiter is blank, and try to be professional, and say it in just like a very like kind of matter of fact way. These are the things like I wasn't vibing with. It could have been an off day, whatever for the recruiter, but I am sure I want a new recruiter. And the reason I would say be a kind of direct about that is the very first thing that manager is going to do. It's almost like their job to do this first is try to reconcile the first one
Yeah.
because they're in charge of all these salespeople. And if he's taking someone away from someone's desk and giving them to someone else, he's taking money away from the first recruiter and essentially giving money to the second recruiter in the form of commission.
Yeah, totally.
And depending on how long you've been with the first recruiter and how much effort they've already put into you, that could be even harder because they'd be like, look, this recruiter's worked on you for months and y'all have talked so many times. You need to try to work it out with him and not just go to this new person and that person will get the commission. So his first job is to try to get you to stay with the first person. If you're open to that, cool. Maybe it just needs a little bit better of an expectation alignment and maybe the first person will be great. But if you are sure you're not open to it, just be firm because they're not going to want to lose you for the whole company. So then they'll be like, okay, no problem. Let's switch you.
They're still incentivized to place you. Like you're a traveler.
Yeah.
They make revenue at their agency if you take a job.
Yeah. No matter which recruiter
Yes.
you're with. Yeah. So then though, what I would say is exactly what you're looking for in the next recruiter. So if you're like, I really want someone who works weekends and this first recruiter didn't, because some recruiters do, some don't. Or I really want someone who's just more personable. I'm just the type of traveler who really likes sending pictures and getting pictures in return and feeling that like friendship vibe. And this one was just more direct. It wasn't my style. Or this one didn't get back to me for like a week, and I want someone who will get back to me, during the job search every other day. The more specific you can be, while it's still like reasonable expectations, the better.
Yeah.
And you can specifically say, I want a recruiter who has over a year of experience. This one just felt really new and didn't understand a lot of the questions I was asking. So whatever it is for you, just ask for it. And then you'll likely get it.
Sounds legit.
Yeah. So that's how you switch a recruiter inside of a company.
Yeah, so cool. I mean, the recruiter relationship, that's a big part of Nomadicare, right? It's so important.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it has such a large impact on your experience as a traveler.
Oh, big time. Yeah. And I would recommend rather than just burning the whole bridge down and like running away to another company, if you already have all your paperwork in with a company, that's a lot of work. And that will transfer over to a new recruiter. If you know the company has good direct relationships with certain facilities where you want to go, that's a good thing. A next company you go to might not have those same relationships. So it is really smart if you like the company as a whole to find that right personality style inside the company rather than saying, this recruiter didn't call me for a week. Who else knows a different company I can go to?
Yeah.
It's easier, especially if you already have your paperwork in. Just get the better recruiter inside the company.
Yeah.
Get one of those top 3. Find your way there instead of, keep leaving to other companies.
Yeah. It's like so many of the, especially negative reviews that agencies get, you'd be surprised of how many of those are recruiter related, right? And so
Yeah.
if they had a different recruiter, would they had a different experience with that agency?
Yeah. Yeah. Which, just side note, that's a huge part of Nomadicare. Like we vet recruiters. It's a really intense interview. Over half the recruiters fail the
Yeah.
interview and don't even make it on. Then from there, we hold them super accountable to how they are to travelers after they pass the interview. Because
Yep.
we know some recruiters might just know how to do a great job on the interview. They might understand Nomadicare more than other recruiters and be like, I know what they want to hear. So we do a bunch of reviews and surveys from the travelers who've been matched, and we take those so seriously. And we'll remove recruiters if we're getting reviews back that they're not actually doing the stuff they said to the travelers. So
Yeah.
these like reviews matter a ton too
Yeah,
for us.
we hold them
Yeah.
accountable for responsiveness, like replying fast.
Yeah.
The quality of the reply, how personal are they writing to you? You know, is it just like some copy and paste template that nobody likes?
Mhm.
Or do they take time to like really look at what you're looking for, what you're nervous about, what you're excited about, where do you want to go, the settings, like, and craft a really good personalized message where you feel like, wow, okay, this person took time to hear what I'm looking for, hear my problems, and then try to figure out a way to build a solution that's right for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, and not everybody holds up. You know, there's people that, you know, eventually get removed from the platform, right?
Yeah.
And so it keeps the quality high. But yeah, the recruiter relationship is so important.
Yeah, definitely. And we look at a lot of other data points too, just side note, because some recruiters can be really friendly, but we look at their placement rate per specialty, their placement rate per state. So when you come through and you're like an SLP that wants Texas, we're going to find the right recruiter who's really good at placing SLPs in Texas, not just the friendliest recruiter out there. It's
Yeah.
this whole mixture of all these different strengths that make an incredible recruiter, not just one of those things. And we look at all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
Great question.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. Thanks for joining us on this episode. If you've listened to it all the way through, what we would love to know in the comments is, what was your most awkward breakup with a recruiter? If you have any funny stories, we'd love to hear about them. And as always, like and subscribe, because we have new episodes that come out every week all about travel healthcare. And we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.
Nice to meet you, hello. Never been here before, but I feel like I'm home. Yeah, 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 yeah. Put my feet on the road, meet me over the coast. We got places to go.